When you think of India's restaurant scene, the name AD Singh instantly comes to mind. He's not just the man behind Olive, he's the one who's changed how India eats, celebrates, and connects. But beyond the glamour and the celebrity buzz lies an incredible story of consistency, reinvention, and risk taking. For over 2 decades, AD has built spaces that became culture, and in the process, he built an entire ecosystem of chefs, bartenders, and restaurateurs who've gone on to create their own legacies. In this episode of Get Candid, we are not talking menus, but we are talking mindset. How do you build a brand that lasts in an industry where trends change overnight? How do you stay relevant when the party never stops? And what really happens behind the scenes of those legendary Bollywood nights at Olive? This is a masterclass for every dreamer, creator, and an entrepreneur who believes hospitality is more than just a business, it's an emotion. Hi, AD Singh.
Hi,
Lovely to
Sasha.
have you here today.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming. It's my second episode and it feels lovely to have you here.
So happy.
Let's dive into the question straight because if we start chatting, I know it's going to be never ending, right? So let's start at the beginning. When you opened the first Olive, what was the restaurant landscapes like here in India? What gap did you see?
So I opened Olive about 10 years into my journey. My first place was Just Desserts in 1990.
Wow.
And I opened Olive in 2000, so 10 years in. And when I got started, people like ourselves had nowhere to go except five-star hotel coffee shops and regional restaurants. We always had great regional restaurants, Udupi restaurants, lovely, but not cool spots.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what people like me brought to the game. And that started from 1990 with Just Desserts. And then I did a few other places, not all worked. Jazz by the Bay, Bowling Company. And then in 2000, I started Olive.
Right.
At that time, the landscape in India was waking up. There were several good people around the country. Indigo, for example, had just opened at that time. Athena was opening around that time. Rithu was doing amazing things, mainly in Delhi. So they were good entrepreneurs looking at the food scene, whether chefs or not. And it was early days. You also have to remember, Sasha, that at the time that I was starting, we were still somewhat a poor country.
Yes.
And disposable income, spending money was actually considered a bit of an evil. It was frowned upon. It all started changing around the time that I started.
Right.
Because of cable television.
Yes.
Got to see the world. Our economy got stronger. So it was really, in a way, a very good time for me to start as India was changing.
Right. Beautiful. 90s feels like, my God, you really had a vision, I must say,
No, to be honest with you, I just got lucky. I'm an electrical engineer. I have no food vision, but I have a huge sweet tooth.
Right.
And at that time, it was very difficult for me to access anything. And there were these lovely old Parsi ladies making great desserts at home.
Yeah.
But as a youngster, you couldn't afford to buy a whole cake.
Right.
Because at that time, if I remember, I had $400, but that was a lot of money at that time,
Yes.
And so I dreamt up a cafe where you could get that by the slice.
Right.
And then that's how Just Desserts was born, which was a smash hit.
Yeah.
Because as I said, we had nothing.
Right.
And somehow I got it right with very nice desserts, courtesy Rahul. Naomi helped, jazz music, a nice vibe, and people just loved it.
Right.
And that's how I got
But also it was your vision. Honestly, it was your vision. You were among the first to make, I think, restaurants about experience, not just food. What gave you the confidence to do something so different? Because like you said, jazz music, even though it was desserts, you want everything like an experience. So what gave you this confidence? What were you watching or what did you see? What was your, I would say, what got you going?
So in a way, I think I'm lucky, Sasha, in some ways, that I never studied hospitality, and I'm not a chef either. So therefore, I had to be very creative across the experience.
Right.
I was one of the first to really work on charm. All of my places have a style and a vibe and a feel.
Right.
Olive has always number one. It's got to be charming, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I worked on the food with different chefs. And drinks and coffee came along
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
In the early days, there was less of focus on drinks.
Yeah.
And coffee is a more recent phenomenon the last few years. I also did some very good events over the years. They were all very new for Bombay that
Yeah.
time. Things like, I guess, flea markets, bar nights.
Yeah.
None of these were actually, to be honest, necessarily original ideas, but they came from friends from here, from there.
Yeah.
And we put them together really well, and they were very successful. So a friend of mine from Canada was the one who actually mooted, why don't you take over one day? I thought, nobody did that.
Right.
And we started the Thursday night at Olive.
Right.
It's been going for 25 years now, 24 and a bit. And on Thursday nights, as you know,
Yeah.
we've sort of ruled Bombay.
Yes.
Everybody who's visiting comes to Olive, and there are hundreds of people. So many people have met their wives, their long-term girlfriends, their best friends
Right.
at those nights. you know.
Right, right. So I think everybody goes there, have a bunch of friends who would visit Mumbai. And if it's Thursday, they don't care what's open in Mumbai. They'll be like, listen, we have to go to Olive first. Yeah. So it's
You know, I have
been
to
that.
tell you, one of the city's queens,
Right.
to the birthday I went, we're quite friendly. She was very warm at the door, and then, we all went.
Yeah.
Suddenly, in the middle of the party, she came up, 80. So I was a bit surprised,
Right.
And what had happened was that her son had asked her, will AD be at your party? She said, yes. And he said, please introduce us and tell him about me so that I can get access on Thursday nights. And she couldn't believe
Right.
that where she used to party at those stage of her life,
Right.
her son was now partying and
Oh
it was
my
still going
God.
strong 18
Imagine.
so many years later. Yeah.
Seriously, that's some sort of a, mark that you've made, honestly, AD. Like,
It's incredible. You know that in
Yeah.
our business, if you make 3 years, it's
Yeah.
quite something.
exactly.
And we've just turned 25 around now.
It is
So-
crazy. 2 decades already. What were the toughest early challenges? I'm sure you must have had some challenges: location, funding, perception, and how did you overcome them?
So you're spot on with your question. All those 3 were the problems. See, one was that the perception in the marketplace when I got started was that, if you had a kid who wanted to be in hospitality,
Right.
send them to hotels.
Yeah.
Restaurants were considered very fly-by-night, small mom-and-pop stuff. You couldn't build a career there. So that was a problem to get good people to join you, one.
Right.
Secondly, location. The time I got started, there was, our legal system didn't give you much protection. So people who had properties were very scared of giving them out.
Yeah.
And then to a restaurateur, forget. So that was problem 2. And then problem 3 was funding. There was no private equities in
Yeah.
our line at that time. And even banks were loath to loan money to restaurant groups. So these were some of the problems that we had.
Right.
And over my years in the industry, it's been a pleasure to see things change on all those fronts.
Yes.
In fact, the hotels for a long time have now been looking at the restaurant industry
Yeah.
and picking up their own game to match what several entrepreneurs are doing.
Right. Beautiful. But how did you overcome? Like, I'm sure you must have had some, challenges when it comes to funding with the banks at that time. Or was it all your, expenses?
No, I didn't come from a wealthy family. I started my first restaurant with 50,000 rupees, which my mum, that's all she had, and that's
Yeah,
what we did.
yeah.
And because my concept was, just desserts, where we went in only in the evenings, we didn't need much money,
Right.
so we managed within that, right?
Okay.
As we've grown, obviously, we've had a bit more to put in, but I've also quite often taken partners into new ventures, like
Right,
Olive, for
right.
example, because that helped us fund and not be dependent on loans, which are very, very hard to
Yeah.
get. Yeah. Now, of course, for the last 15 years or so, we've had good support from different private equity groups.
Right.
'Cause we built a name, a
Right.
credit, a story.
Right.
And that helps us a lot to scale up and keep growing.
That's right. I mean, how can we get away with not asking you this question? How did you come with this name, Olive?
So, I was on a holiday with my family in Phuket, and I found myself at this one place every day. And I thought, why? It wasn't, the food was nice,
Yeah.
but it was the vibe. It was very laid back. I loved the music. I'd sit there, I'd eat, or I'd have a coffee. I'd chill. I'd spend some serious time there. And I thought, Bombay doesn't have that. So actually, the restaurant that became Olive was born as a concept of a place to chill, to hang, a bit of La Dolce Vita,
Yeah.
the whole thing about life. And you can sit at Olive, read a book if you want to for 4 hours. You can have a good meal and go. You can get up and dance.
Yeah.
So it's an entire experience. And that's how the concept was born.
Right.
And then our architect, we had a brilliant architect called Nazar Wadia, who's created the look and feel of Olive. And he gave us some different mood boards. And my partner and I liked the Mediterranean one.
Yes.
So we went in that direction for this concept and vibe we wanted. And then we were thinking about various names and not sure. We were at dinner at Trattoria, a bunch of us together.
Right. Oh my God, I
chatting.
remember that space.
Somebody, a friend actually came up with, what about Olive?
Yeah.
Small names were kind of in trend that time.
Yeah.
And because Olive is so Mediterranean, so we tossed it around, and a couple of days later we decided to go ahead with that.
Right. Beautiful. I mean, honestly, when I think of even the architecture, like back in the day, which people are doing now, I would see, like you've literally done it 24 years ago. It's insane,
So it's
AD.
funny because while we were doing our work, my landlord, who I'm very close to and is a brilliant guy, one day came down and he was talking to one of his aides saying, "ये लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? दीवार पर चूना है, कभी नहीं चलेगा." But the secrets, Asha, I realized,
Right.
and I realized that much later. One of the big reasons I think for our success is that in our design we have candlelight.
Yeah.
And candlelight makes women look much more beautiful.
Yes.
I think that's been a big part of why women love it and our success for so long.
Right. I think that's beautifully said, AD. Like, I mean, for me, I think candlelight just becomes very like a romantic, even whether you're with your girls or you're with a man, like, I mean, it just changes the whole atmosphere of the space, But beautifully done, AD. Hats off to you on that. Olive became iconic, not just for cuisine, but for how it made people feel. What was your core philosophy in designing that atmosphere?
Very good question again, Sasha. You're right. The bottom line of why people go to restaurants is the way they make them feel.
Yeah.
It's not something everybody gets it. They should get it,
Yeah.
So if you look after them well, if you make them feel valued and appreciated. I hate going to a restaurant, however good it is, if I'm just number 76 for the day,
Yeah.
I'm not a number, I'm not transaction, I'm not kaching.
Yeah.
I'm a customer. I've come to you, I have choices.
Yeah.
So that's what I try and teach my people, and I think that's what Olive is known for. My boys aren't necessarily the most polished or sophisticated, but they've always been very warm, smiley, caring,
Yeah.
And that's sort of the DNA for the Olive Group, and I think that's valued by customers.
Right.
We make them feel welcomed.
Right.
And appreciated.
Can't agree more on that, especially your bartenders. They're always like smiling and have that, they have a very different energy. I think from the time you step inside, from the people that you have from the outside at the podium till in, like it's an experience for sure. Can't
We're
agree
lucky
with you.
that we have Neelam
Yes.
at the Olive in Bombay. She's
Yeah.
been with us for a long time now.
Yeah.
And she meets everybody,
Right.
welcomes them. No nonsense.
Yeah.
But she's really, very warm and professional.
Very, very, and she's a friend again. So, I was just telling her, it's like you're the face of Olive. Everybody would come and they'll be like, oh, she's the Olive girl.
Most think she's the owner, which I'm very happy about.
Right. But yeah, I think it's also, when it comes to restaurants, I think it's very important to have the right people with the right vibe for that sort of a the atmosphere that you created. How did you balance creativity with consistency, making sure that the brand always evolved but never lost its soul?
So, I have a saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Right.
So I'm very hands-on.
Yeah.
Because I'm lucky, I stumbled into this line very early, when it really wasn't a line,
Yeah.
because I liked it, and over the years, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've now been in this line for 35 years, but I still really enjoy it. And so I'm very hands-on. I've had people who've been with me over 15 years, over 20 years.
Right.
So they've also really imbibed
Yeah.
my culture, the way I look at things. The DNA of the company is very strong that way.
Yeah.
And part of that, of course, as all restaurants, you need to keep fresh, you need to innovate.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of our day-to-day. But I'd say more than that, our ideology and our DNA is to really care about our people.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be a no-brainer for everybody,
Right.
but surprisingly, it isn't. The Olive family is really like the Olive family. Neelam, whom I mentioned,
Yeah.
I've seen her get offers much more than we give her.
Yeah.
But she stays because she's like family.
Right.
She knows whatever happens, we have her back, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do try and do my best for everybody up and down the line, as much as we can,
Right.
through all the bumps that life
Yeah.
throws at you.
Correct.
So I think that's been a big secret of keeping good people.
Right.
They know the customers like that a lot.
Right.
Whether it's the person looking after the toilet or the
Yeah.
person at the door,
Yeah.
there's that connect,
Yeah, it's a sort of a relationship bonding. Like I've realized that even when I went to the washroom once, and it was me and Gabriella, we were there, like we were waiting for, to take our turns. And this lady is always there with her tissues and making sure it's all, taken care of. And she'll make sure that we're fine if you're too drunk as well. I do see her
Yes.
taking care of,
Yes.
the women and the ladies.
So that's another thing about us. We're very protective of
Yes.
our customers, especially those we've started to recognize when they may be a little high.
Right.
We've had, my bar, nothing to do with me, has stopped girls from drinking
Yeah.
and made sure they got home.
How beautiful.
Even though they didn't want to leave.
Yeah, of
they want to
course.
drink. No. Yeah. So I think it's very important actually in any
Right.
bar in the
Right.
world, if you ask me. We've got code words,
Yeah.
systems in some of our places.
Right.
You have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. A lot of people start restaurants for glamour these days. What's one thing about the business that outsiders don't understand? We would love to hear this from you.
So a lot of people get into the business for maybe the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Worldwide, this industry is the hardest, number one, to start off in.
Right.
Because there's so many difficulties, etc., etc. So whenever I'm asked to speak at a panel,
Yeah.
this is the number one advice that I give to the viewers and those who want to be restaurateurs, is let's start safely.
Mm-hmm.
Take a franchise of an established brand
Yeah.
or partner with an established restaurant.
Yeah.
Learn it, give it some time, you'll
Yeah.
save your family's
Yeah.
money. Then branch off into whatever ideas you have,
Right.
I know nobody's listening
Yeah.
because they're so excited. Because it is a very tough business to get started at.
Yeah. AD, we were just talking about you mentioned about the code word. So let's say if I'm like super drunk or, wasted there and I need a drink. How does this work? Like how will your team help
Right.
me?
So I don't want to say what the words are.
Right.
Because the whole idea is that if the girl says it, the person she's with doesn't realize that she's asking for help.
Okay.
Because sometimes
Got
the help
it.
means she wants to get away from
Right.
a threatening situation.
Okay.
So I won't say
okay.
what the words are, but as a
Right.
system across our bars, if women
Yeah.
need support, help, whatever,
Yeah.
then the team is trained
Right.
to look out for it
Okay.
and help out as the situation demands.
Got
So I
it.
know a very prominent person in Bombay. She was flamboyant, regular with us from
Yeah.
the time we opened. Got married, and then one night she was really trashed at the restaurant. And the boys stopped her drinking. One of them put in a cab, took her home. She didn't want to go. She was protesting all the way.
Right.
But, you know.
Yeah.
So as far as that, we
Right.
try our best to look after our women customers as needed.
Beautiful.
Because the good thing at Olive for Women is Neelam's always on the floor.
Yeah, she's on
so
the
you can
floor.
just give her a hint.
Yes.
And
yes.
she will step in and
Yeah,
support.
I've seen that side of Neelam. Yeah, I have actually. Few instances. Now that when you're telling me,
Nice.
I'm trying to connect the dots, you know. What makes a restaurant actually work if someone is starting out today? What are the 3 non-negotiables for a survival in this hospitality industry?
I'd say one, your concept should be strong. If you're just going to open the 10th restaurant in the area doing the same thing, then your chances of survival are diminished, right? So try and get your concept right. My own guideline for those watching or listening would be figure out what you're passionate about within the industry, whatever it is. Right. It can be tea, it can be dal. Do whatever you love. The market in India now has grown that they want excellence, and it doesn't need to be some huge concept or international concept. They just want to see that passion and excellence. So I'd say whatever you do, you must do it well to survive.
Right.
That's critical. I would say that really good service, and as I mentioned earlier, valuing your customer is very, very important. I used to have a manager in one of my old places, the bowling company, who the minute I walked in, he'd be like glued to my ear, you know, just giving me his inputs and all. My wife and I used to laugh about it, but over the years I've realized just how valuable he was.
Right.
Because he really makes everybody come in there, you know, really feel valued.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
Right. I mean, now that I've also turned into a restaurateur, you know, I really agree with everything that you've said, AD, because even with, you know, our properties, I just said that you need to have, your experience has to be number one, your concept. If you're doing something different, you know what you're doing and you know what you're going to get, you know, at the end. Third, the service. It has to be, like, I think, top notch. And that's what I've seen in Olive. Like I mentioned, from the very beginning, from the time you get out of your car, till you go inside, till you use the ladies. I've seen that, you know. So definitely agree with you on that. The F&B industry is brutal. High burns, light margins. How do you keep teams motivated and creative through this, pressure?
So for us, our teams are critical. As I said, you know, I'm not a good businessman. I'm not a good chef. And I think luckily how I've had the level of success that the company has had is because I really valued our people from day one and really looked after them, cared for them. Not just financially, because any number of people will come and say, I'll give you more.
Right.
But trying to care for them, keep them happy, helping them to enjoy. So many, many years ago, we started programs of taking them to a movie or taking them bowling, taking them little cricket leagues, etc., etc. That biryani tea once in a week. So all that made them look forward to coming to work, and that's really, really important. And we've worked hard at that. It's one of the most important directions that I give my top team all the time, to look after them, care about them.
Yeah.
Of course, I know that sometimes my investors, friends feel I'm a bit too soft.
Oh, okay.
You know, because in the old days, the thinking used to be, we gotta crack your whip,
Yes.
make them jump, let them be scared. That's how you get the best work. But that's not my way. I couldn't have done it even if I wanted to. And I think that the reason for our longevity and also the longevity of staff, both up and down, has been because of that. They felt appreciated, valued, cared for. And so we have, like, say, the GRE in the front at Olive Delhi has been there for 21 years.
Wow.
She's grown, obviously, but 21 years.
Yeah.
My head of operations has been with us 23 and a half years.
Wow.
The people at the toilets in both Bombay and Delhi have been there from the day we started.
What are you
And
saying?
a few more examples like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, so I think that's a very important part of our ideology that I'm proud of, and that I would say to anybody watching, listening,
Right.
that your people are your biggest asset.
Yeah.
To look after them, that's your best path to long-term success.
Yeah. Yeah. Similar thoughts, AD. Literally, that's what I like whenever we have a briefing or, just among the family as well. I said it's very important to take care of them because they need to also feel like home. For them to give that 100%, you gotta take care of your people.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. I mean, even at home, like when you have your house helps or you have your drivers, I feel like if you take care of them, they will take care of you. Why not? Why will they
But
leave
the
you?
truth is that they look after us.
Yes.
They're almost like family. They're with us all the time.
Yes, yes.
They have such responsibility. So you
Yes.
really, I so
Yes.
agree with you there.
Because, I mean, for me, having to live outside, like grown up in boarding school, never lived with family, right? And for the last, there was a time here in Mumbai where I sort of had some sort of a surgery, and then my parents couldn't fly down due to some reason. The airport there in, back home was under renovation. So they had to either take a train, and they would not do that. And it was during a festival time. And I said, you know what? It's okay. I have friends, I'll do it. And I have these people. They're more than family, and they literally took care of me. And I felt like their family. I think my house helps and my cook would know better than what my mom would know. I always say that. So I agree with you. You got to take care of your people and they're going to give it back to you.
So I would also say to everybody watching and listening, if you're on a date or if you're thinking about somebody that is she the one or is he the one,
Yeah.
see how they treat the people around them who care for them, waiters in restaurants, cab drivers, etc.
Very true, very true.
You really want somebody who care about them and
Right.
respect them. I
Right.
think that's critical.
Right.
Otherwise, I would advise you, let it
Not
be.
to stay close. I get you. I mean, my eyes are always on that. I don't know why my thought process and yours literally like bang on everything that you say. AD, over the years,
You know why I want to answer that?
why?
I don't know you well,
Right.
but we talked a bit before this
Right,
chat.
right.
I think, like me, you're very entrepreneurial, and you're doing it because it's a passion.
Yes.
And your way of approaching it also seems like mine.
Right.
Caring, trying to do something good,
Right.
and
Right.
success comes great.
It comes,
Yeah.
I mean, at the end, I feel you got to keep doing your thing. There are friends who tell me, like, Sasha, you're always doing this or that, you're asking. I love this. I can't imagine my life just sitting and doing nothing or doing one thing. I enjoy this. And yeah, sometimes I think you got to be real in this world. There are not many real people very few. Especially with the whole digital, I think things have just gone very digitally, the friendships or families or just work, everything. So being true to yourself probably helps.
I want to add to that actually something which, again, I think your viewers might enjoy.
Right.
So, Olive, as a group from day one, we've always highlighted our stars. Chefs are doing a great job, front
Yeah.
house people,
Yeah.
great bar people, and friends, well-wishers, and also those who are not well-wishers, have in a way mocked me a little bit, saying, "What are you
Yeah.
doing, Eddie? Are you running a training academy?
Yeah.
You're going to lose all these people." But I don't believe in that way.
Yeah.
I believe that you highlight them, let them grow and gain
Yes.
the recognition that they deserve. I mean,
Yeah.
they've earned it.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why we've been able to keep good people, some of the best chefs in the country for a long time.
Yeah.
They've had offers, blank checks, etc.
Right.
But because they felt, look, I don't have the headache,
Yeah.
and I've got the support, I've got the platform,
Comfort as well.
and I'm cared for.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing I'd urge your viewers, if they have good people with them, showcase them, highlight
Yeah.
them, let them feel liked, respected, known.
Yeah.
That's the surest way they'll stay with you
Yeah.
for a long time
Yeah.
too.
Totally. Totally. Over the years, how have you seen Indian diners evolve? What do you expect now that they didn't probably like 10 years ago?
So you realize that I've been seeing the Indian diner now for 35 years.
Exactly.
So the evolution has been incredible. It's a paradigm shift from when I started to now.
I would love to hear from there till now. Not 10 years, but from
So do you have about a day and a half?
Oh, okay. I have. I don't know. You have. You have another meeting to go to. So I'm trying to rush this interview through.
So I'd say from when I started, remember that we had been a fairly poor country till that time.
Yeah.
The kids didn't have exposure, wealth, nothing. And to today, our diner is much more adventurous, much more traveled. He's seen a lot.
Yeah.
So he's increasingly looking to get the same experiences that he would get worldwide, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the markets, the exposure in our own city is not the same yet.
Yeah.
So you can't get too adventurous. But for restaurateurs like myself, we can finally create, take chances, push the envelope. You know, it's reached quite an interesting level. And that's so many you're seeing even in India across our cities. They're very interesting, cool, small places opening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, for example, when you go to Japan, of course, there are places that only do one thing.
Yeah.
Sushi, just maybe one type of sushi. Maybe just a chicken burger. And they do it very well and people love that.
Yeah.
So those are very mature markets. But we are getting there.
Yeah.
Our youngsters especially, our younger chefs, etc., restaurateurs, entrepreneurs, are doing smaller spaces, but with a very sharp focus. And I'd say as a consumer, that's fabulous.
Right.
You don't know how lucky you are in India now.
Right.
Also, I don't know if you've noticed that, Sasha, that in my time, we all wanted to go abroad, live there. Nobody came back.
Yeah.
Now, increasingly, living in India is a very attractive option.
It is.
Work-wise, let's say in certain fields, you're still a bit beyond the rest of the world, behind them. But in lifestyle, in your evenings out, in your options, it's reasonable for somebody who hasn't lived here.
Yeah.
And of course, in terms of family and all that, it's fabulous, you know.
Right.
So I think India's become increasingly a more and more attractive place to live as compared to almost anywhere in the world for Indians.
Right. I think I've also kind of seen that. I feel, I mean, having lived in Australia and coming back now, the moment you say Indians, it's not just about what they would, you know, kind of categorize you with, but it's like, oh my God, India, it's beautiful. You know, we've been there, the kind of nightlife we've had in Mumbai or Delhi, the kind of food, they all talk about these things, which is why, I mean, coming back to what you said, that a lot of people who've also gone back have decided to finish their studies, especially with hospitality, I've seen that. They study their whole chef course and everything, and they come back and either start a restaurant or join, you know, a big property, and then eventually, like Goa for that matter, look at the way every corner, you know.
Fabulous.
It's changed completely.
Yeah.
And Olive Goa again, my favorite spot. My favorite. So let's dive into one of the most favorite questions, I would say, because I've been in this industry for the last 13 years in the media, and who hasn't seen this sort of a vibe? Olive became the go-to spot for the film industry. Movie wrap-up parties, Sunday brunches, paparazzi nights. Did that happen organically or was it a strategy? We all want to know this.
So you have to realize, Sasha, that I'm a South Bombay boy.
Right.
And the whole world of Bollywood, for example, was foreign to me. I didn't know anybody, and, you know. And I opened Olive because I liked that space. And I took a chance and, you know, from South Bombay, if you remember back then, we never crossed Worli.
Yes.
If we had friends from there, they came to the south to meet us.
Yeah.
So I took a chance with the space. I thought it was a nice space. And I was thinking about that concept that from Phuket that I talked about. And so when I created it, I had no eye on Bollywood or the stars or the celebs. Tried to create a good product with a nice inside outside. But what happened was that the entire film industry lived, at that time a lot of them lived in Bandra itself. And some bit more north. And they really didn't have any place to go to cool spots. So they filled Olive most nights for months and months, years and years. And I very early passed direction at Olive that you must not bother them, no picture, and you can't talk about whatever they get up to.
Right.
So that they really liked. And because the kind of clientele we had was fairly sophisticated,
Yeah.
they weren't bothered with pictures or,
Yes.
so they really liked that. And so we were, a very popular hangout for them for a long
Yeah.
time. And that really helped create the
Yeah.
buzz and all. It was no strategy of
No
mine.
strategy.
It just happened, but it really created the buzz that made Olive what it
Right.
is.
Crazy, the blue door, the pictures of paparazzis. It's always the blue door. Beautiful. What's been your most memorable celebrity night at Olive? One of those only in Mumbai moments that you can probably talk to us about.
So we've had many moments. I've tried to avoid talking about the celebrities because it's not fair, it's their private lives. But
Right.
it's been a long time and it's a nice story. Okay, so I'll tell you one. So Shah Rukh was at the height. He's been at the height for a long time.
Yeah.
But in the early days. And he was the king. And then this newcomer came along, Hrithik Roshan. And he did a couple of good movies, good
Yeah.
looking, great dancer. And there was huge buzz around him. And the media, some parts of it especially, made it into a real tussle between them, antagonism,
Okay.
They don't like each other.
Right.
And, So this was the backdrop.
Right.
It was a night at Olive. I actually happened to be there that night. And Shah Rukh was dining with some friends. And the door opened and Hrithik walked in.
Right.
And the entire restaurant went still. Because we'd all read and seen what,
Right.
and didn't know what was going to happen, And Hrithik started walking in and Shah Rukh got up and walked towards him. And really, I think more than half of us thought there may be a punch-up,
Right.
because it had been made that way.
Yeah.
Instead, they hugged each other.
Yeah.
And Shah Rukh wished him well. And it was just a lovely, sweet moment.
Right.
And the audience let out his breath and realized that actually in their hearts,
Right. There's
they're
nothing.
not competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was two people who've reached somewhere.
Yeah.
At that time, of course, Shah Rukh was already huge and Hrithik
Yeah.
was getting there. And it said very nice things about both of them.
Right.
And so that was actually a lovely moment
Right.
in the days of Olive.
See, this is what happens behind the blue door.
Behind the blue
but
door.
then outside, the paps will come up with different,
Versions,
versions of stories, which is quite. I mean, I've seen a couple of, like Deepika. I remember one point there was a lot of news going on between Deepika and Ranveer back then, when they were just sort of dating. And I still remember we were dining on the inside section, so Deepika and few of them were there. And then, of course, Ranveer came, and then there was this whole lot of who wasn't there outside, And next, in a few. It wasn't so common. I think Insta wasn't common at that time, where the pictures would go out, but we would see in different websites back then, or video content where the new boyfriend or whatever. So I've seen those sort of moments as well.
Insta's changed the game.
Yeah.
Within an hour, it's out there.
Yeah, it's just there.
immediately, Yeah.
Literally. And you don't even need the paps there. Because somebody from inside would probably take some content and send it off to these guys, some guest there. How do you maintain exclusivity and comfort when a restaurant becomes a magnet for celebrities and media attention, which I think you'll be the best person to talk about this situation.
So we were very particular about that from day one. As I said, whatever happened was organic. So we weren't, that was not our formula for success. We were trying to be a good restaurant, you know. And so we didn't let our own people talk up. Nobody ever rang up a magazine or photographer said, who's here today, and tried to build crowds at that. That wasn't the way. And as I mentioned earlier, the customers were very respectful of the stars who came in. So that gave them that comfort. Which, if you read interviews with stars worldwide, they have everything, but the one thing they miss is being able to do normal things. Without, and that's what Olive allowed them to do. and still allows them to do
Right.
for so many years.
Right. Beautiful. You've launched many concepts under Olive Group. Soda bottle opener wala, which I've been personally, Monkey Bar, the Fatty Bar, and many more. What's your framework for knowing when to innovate or, just exit?
So we've launched many strong brands over the years.
Yeah.
Usually we see something which we feel I'd love to go to, or my team would love to go to, it's not there. And then we actually put a lot of time. We normally, on the average, spend between a year to a year and a half from the time we first thought of a concept to the time we open it.
Right.
So we work hard on all the aspects of the concept, what will make it special, make the customers come in. And you have to realize, for me, see, I'm not a businessman, as I mentioned. So for me, what really gets me excited is the creation part.
Yeah.
Creating ideas, making them better. Or in the cases of existing restaurants, new things to do there, innovation, etc.
Innovation. Yeah.
And these are some of the brand names. We've opened a lot more, and we are opening a few more as we speak.
Right.
Our latest opening, we opened the Love Hotel.
Oh,
in
yes.
Delhi.
Yes.
It's a small place, a 16-seater. It's a bit naughty, a little bit kinky. Japanese food and cool drinks.
Right.
And people are just loving that space.
Right.
We're about to open a new bar at the Olive in Bandra.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
I think I do have I have a little information on that, I think. After 25 years, how do you find inspiration to stay relevant in an industry obsessed with what's new?
So one, I've tried to spread my team to have also young people working with us.
Yeah.
Because it is true that the sensitivities, the likes, the dislikes of the younger generations are very different to mine. I wouldn't understand them, I wouldn't respect them, and I wouldn't be able to create in a way that made sense to them.
Right.
So my management team is across many ages, and even the youngsters are very valuable to us, and I give a lot of credence to what they say and their thoughts, and then try and put it into the framework of whatever place.
Right.
So that's been a big part of staying relevant. Secondly, for me, as you realize in the marketplace, there's millions and millions of customers.
Yeah.
You're not trying to get all of them in.
Yeah.
So I think it's more important to be clear with your idea and who you want to get in, and then focus on them.
Yeah.
You can't hit X and millennials and Gen Z.
Yeah.
It's very tough to try to appeal to all of them. Doesn't matter.
Right.
There's enough out there who like what you do if you stay focused and clear to that.
Right.
If you make a kitchery, nobody will come in.
Correct. Yeah, makes sense. What do you think the next decade of dining in India looks like? Post-pandemic, post-influencer era?
I think like the example I gave you earlier about Japan,
Yeah.
where restaurants become more and more focused, much smaller menu planning,
Yeah.
and do things really, really well. I think that's one trend and one direction that would be very, very big.
Right.
Apart from that, what you're seeing now, you see India is a country with so many cuisines ourselves.
Yeah.
Many of them not explored enough. And so I think we'll increasingly see good restaurants showcasing, highlighting the cuisines of India to the markets across the country.
Right.
And I'm really looking forward to that because our own food is just delicious.
Yeah. In fact, I think if you recollect, I mean, I don't know if Priyanka Chopra had, I think, opened some Indian joint somewhere in New York with some person, I don't know. Because as Indians, of course, we want food from different countries. But back in US or Europe or any place like Australia, people love Indian food. And when it comes to Indian food, it's always like dosa, they love. The naan bread, they love. Papadums, they love, So I think Indian food also has their own sort of a market overseas. But like how yoga is so popular overseas, I think Indian food, some of our items which is not explored by the Western people, I think should get explored more. I
So
think
we
so.
actually say you hit the nail on the head for our entrepreneurs.
Right.
Actually, the world doesn't know Indian food.
Yeah.
I went looking about 5 years ago,
Right.
trying to see opportunities. I saw huge opportunities.
It is. Yeah.
Since then, it's got much
Yes.
better. New York's got great Indian
Yeah,
restaurants. Friend of mine's opened some lovely stuff on the West Coast.
Yes.
Another friend in DC.
Right.
But their understanding and exposure to our cuisines is still very, very limited.
It's limited.
Very limited.
Yes.
It's huge scope.
Right.
And I think the years ahead across the world,
Right.
that's one of the things we will see.
Yes.
That all our cuisines, many of our cuisines,
Right.
let's say, becoming really big worldwide.
Right. Because when I see a lot of like my friends from overseas when they come to India and they taste, of course, the basics, what they taste there, and then they come back and they try so many different items. They're like, oh my God, this is amazing, like a samosa. My friend had 6 samosas. I said, you know what? You're going to die. You cannot be eating this.
Right.
Because I barely eat one, and you're having 6, your gut, your stomach is not going to take it. But they really enjoyed it. Because probably when they're outside in their own countries, they would have like papadum, naan, dosa. Mostly they eat butter chicken or mango chicken, vindaloo. You know, these are the things.
Yeah, exactly. Bengali cuisine.
Right.
Pretty much
exactly.
unknown worldwide.
Exactly.
And many of our southern cuisines are unknown.
Right.
Dosa, yes. Outside that, hey.
Yeah, there's
we've
so
such-
many.
So much, yeah.
Right, there's
yeah.
so much. Even Maharashtrian cuisine or Rajasthani, like, I mean, we all know that we love. North Indian, they know, of course, butter chicken. That's usually, but there's so much more
much more.
beyond.
So
butter
one of my
chicken.
favorite restaurants, which I know you're thinking of asking me there, is a place called Tanjore Tiffin Room.
Oh,
It's right
yes,
next to
yes,
Olive.
yes, yes.
Owner's an old buddy. He's a restaurateur for a
Right,
long
right.
time. Just delicious food.
Yummy, I love it. I've eaten a couple of times there. Yeah.
It's like cuisine also.
Right.
If you ask me, can you get that in London? Can you get that in New York and more?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So, you know,
yes.
and look at those flavors.
Yeah.
In Bangalore, when I go, we often go in lunch at Paragon.
Right.
It's really the food from Calicut.
Oh, nice.
And
Where is this?
incredible. In Bangalore, on Museum Road.
Oh, nice.
So it's very well known. So they asked, you know, one of the best restaurants in India is Avartana, the last few
of
years,
course.
which represents the cuisine of the South.
Right.
Incredible. So,
Right.
yeah.
They need to explore our cuisine a little more, I would say.
much
And
more.
AD, you got to open one probably back in the West, you know, and let's show the other side of Indian cuisine
think
as
so.
well, other than just
I think that's
our,
a good
yeah.
goal. Yeah.
I'm giving you a different business idea again. You've mentored so many chefs and entrepreneurs who've gone on to open their own spaces. What's your proudest passing the torch moment?
I think for me, over the last couple of years, I've realized it's not something I want, but almost everywhere I go,
Right.
I'm not even presented a bill. Because
Oh.
most of the leaders or the teams
Right.
are ex from us and they're
Correct.
very, I don't know, appreciative or.
Right.
So it's very nice. I mean, the difference I made to the industry, partly from being one of the
Yeah.
early people and then it's just
Yeah.
grown, and many others like myself. I realized that's a lovely legacy
Yeah.
that I will be leaving behind, and that's a source of great pleasure and satisfaction for me.
Right. Beautiful. When things got tough, whether financially or creatively, what kept you grounded?
So many years ago, I rebalanced my life.
Right.
I don't want to be one of those people with regrets.
Yeah.
So I'm working hard, and I'm going to keep working hard. I'm not
Yeah,
don't have any timeline to stop. But part of that is because I have a great work-life balance. I've always tried to be there for those I love, for their special moments.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, this business takes a lot of
Right.
time. And then once I had kids, I tried to be there with the kids
Yeah.
a lot. So I work from home a lot. So
Yeah.
that therefore I'm at least around,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I want to be a big part of their growing up before they go away.
Right.
So with both my family and my close friends, that helps me keep grounded. I'm very into sports.
Oh, nice.
So try and do something every
Yeah.
day.
What do you
With-
play?
So I play paddle. These days I'm
Oh,
very passionate
nice.
about paddle. Try and hit the gym or try and do
Right.
yoga.
Right.
I try and hit the range. I enjoy golf, but it takes too much time.
Yeah.
So at least I hit the range once, twice a week, get an hour in, So I think between reading, sports, and my family,
Yeah.
that keeps me very grounded. That really helps through the ups and downs of any business.
Right. Perfect. What does success mean to you now? Has that definition changed from when you started Olive?
I think the way I've lived my life for a long time now has been as I said. So I think for me, success is being able to live that kind of life the way I want. And also, of course, there are a lot of people who back me, from investors to employees. Their future is in my hands, and I got to take care of all of them. So I think for me, being successful would be to discharge my obligations to all of them in a way that would be happy and satisfying for them.
Right. Okay, now we have a very interesting question, which is a very quick one. Just one thing you have to, it's a rapid fire.
I hate rapid fire.
It's very easy because you'll be able to nail it. I know that, okay? One dish you never get tired of eating.
Ghar ka khana.
Love that. Give me 5, 80. Because I'm also all about ghar ka khana.
I think all of
Love
us
it.
are, right?
Yes.
Whatever we grew up with.
I love it.
Yeah.
I cannot be eating out every day. One restaurant, not yours, that you think defines India's new culinary era.
I think Tanjore Tiffin Room is one example.
Right.
It's nice. The one in Goa has got a lot of charm.
Yes.
It's bringing out our regional cuisines
Yes.
very well. And a lot of people are connecting, are learning, are exploring that. So I think that's part of the wave of the future.
Right. The craziest celebrity story you can tell on camera. You did tell me about Shah Rukh and Hrithik, but anything else you can speak about? I know a few of them, like at least in the last 13 years with Olive that I've visited. Yeah, I have seen a few.
So remind me of one and I will explain more.
Which one? So many wrap-up parties. I'm actually trying to think.
So one of my stories I liked was in the early days when Salman was wooing Katrina.
Right.
Just moved here for boom, a little later. And she came in one day with a bunch of girlfriends.
Yeah.
And it was clear, and he came in with his brothers, a couple of friends, and he was at the bar, she had a table. And it's clear that there was a fight going on.
Right.
And then as the night went on, diners at Olive was zapped to see that he put a rose in his teeth
Oh.
and he danced by her table.
Wow.
This way and then that way, And all her friends were laughing and everybody loved it. And they were nudging her saying, come on,
Right.
forgive him. And so by the end of the night, she forgave him.
Right.
They had a laugh and then they left happily
How
together.
cute.
It was a really cute
You must have seen so many moments like
many
this,
moments,
right?
yeah.
So many. I mean, it all feels, for me, even in 10 years, I get so nostalgic thinking, because things have changed now, AD. How it used to be with, because see, having access or seeing a celebrity outside was a big thing. It'll go on Filmfare or it'll go on any of these, websites. But now it's like we were just talking right now, and half an hour it's already on your Instagram. I miss those moments somehow.
So one of my favorite celebrities over the years, and the reason I'm saying that's actually because we've seen them all,
Right.
and we've also seen and heard how they are in their lives with other people.
Right.
And I think for me, now over so many years, I've become a bigger and bigger fan of Shah Rukh
Yeah.
because he treats people very well.
Yes.
Grace, I've heard any number of stories. People who are unwell,
Yeah.
they wanted a note from him.
Right.
He'd show up at their bedside.
Yeah.
Be the only star to do that. He's in town for some show. He would go,
Yeah.
I know, I've personally seen a couple of things he did. Unbelievable, Just he tried so hard.
Right.
So much grace. And unfortunately, because celebrities are celebrities,
Yeah.
and there's so much adoration, many of them lose their way.
Yeah, they do.
They lose their
Yes,
grounding,
yes,
they become
yes.
arrogant.
Yes.
And it's lovely to see such a superstar
Yeah. Yeah.
being not only humble, but giving back so much. So I'd say of all the celebrities I've seen,
Yeah.
been lucky to see through my restaurants, he's the one over the years I'd say I admire the most.
Right. I think, Shah Rukh has also been one of my favorite. I've heard, again, coming from this part of the industry, I haven't heard a single person speak something ill about him. I have friends who visited him at his house also. I haven't had the opportunity to see him at his place, but just met him for interviews and stuff like that. But I do hear that he's very welcoming and he makes sure you're comfortable. He's there throughout and a very good host as well. But hopefully we get to meet him one day at his place. The best piece of advice you would give a young person dreaming of opening their first restaurant?
It's a lovely industry if you're passionate about it. If you're not, do something else because it is hard.
Yeah.
And if you are getting into it, then open your first restaurant very carefully. Take a franchise of a good brand or partner with somebody who knows what he's doing. Start carefully and then grow from there.
Right. This has been like an MBA masterclass. Just elaborate on the secret of your success for all the viewers out there.
Sure. I'm actually very passionate about entrepreneurs getting into the business.
Yeah.
Very happy to help any way I can.
Yeah.
One I'd say to anybody getting into restaurants, come in if you're passionate about the business. Because it is glamorous, but it is hard work. So if you enjoy it, go for it. And welcome to the industry. If you don't, you may have other choices that will do you better in the long run. Secondly, if you are coming in, start carefully and safely. Take a franchise of a good brand or tie up with somebody who knows what they're doing. Learn, understand, and then go on to whatever concepts and thoughts excite you.
Right.
Thirdly, I'd say very importantly, care about the people who join you and who work for you through your career. Because they're really your biggest assets.
Yeah.
And they will help you grow and be successful in ways that you can't even imagine now.
Yeah.
Fourthly, what I found that served us well is run a clean company. Be compliant, pay your taxes, do it right. There's a lot of value to that for investors, collaborators, landlords, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So that can help you grow further, bigger.
Yeah.
You will still stand out in the scape where unfortunately too many people take shortcuts, don't go the right way.
Yeah.
And lastly, I would say, keep doing it till you enjoy it. Because then we'll get the best out of you and you'll probably have at least happiness for the rest of your career.
Right. Like you do.
Like I do.
Beautiful. Good luck with everything, AD. Thank you so much. It was honestly my privilege, I would say, to, sit with you. Now that I've also got into this whole restaurant, business with the family. It's really good to hear your story, somebody who's been doing this for the last 30 plus years. And Olive is a brand, everybody knows it. Just to let you know, recently, I think I would say a year ago, so I had friends from the UK, first time they visited India. So, of course, I took them out. We were, drinking and partying everywhere, went out for lunches. But I knew that last night I'm going to keep it for Olive because it was a Thursday. They had a ball of the time and, we were on till long, ate great pizzas, salads. Yeah, we had some great moments there. So thank you for creating that.
That's the best thing for me. Hearing people being happy there.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Thank you so much and look forward to seeing you again.
Lovely.
Conversations like this really reminds you that a success in hospitality, it's more than just a menu. It's about the vision, people, and the courage to keep evolving. Through his journey, AD Singh has shown that creativity and business can go hand in hand. And that staying relevant for 25 years means never losing curiosity for what's next. For anyone dreaming of starting a restaurant, this episode wasn't just about recipes, but it's about the mindset. Build something that people feel connected to and the brand will follow. And if this episode sparked an idea or a lesson for you, share it with someone who's building their own dream. See you in the next one.